Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. Asslamoalaikum, dear brothers, sisters, and friends. We are going to talk about Prophet Lut AS. Lut is a prophet of God mentioned in the Quran. According to the Islamic tradition, Lut lived in Hur and was the son of Haran and nephew of Abraham. He migrated with Abraham to Canaan. He was commissioned as a prophet to the city of Sodom and Gomorrah. The prophet Lut is mentioned by name 27 times in the Quran in several long passages that relate how he was sent to the people of Sodom. He was born in 1805 BC and died in 1980 BC. At the age of 175 years, Prophet Lut was sent down to the first ever gay community. God destroyed the peoples of Lut, including his wife, like the biblical narrator. The Quran states that Lut's messages were ignored by the inhabitants of the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah were subsequently destroyed. The destruction of the cities is traditionally presented as the warning against homosexuality in Islam as well as other things. The people of Sodom and Gomorrah were very immoral and immortal. They committed something divine that no nation had committed up to that time. The men referred men instead of women for sexual intercourse. They went too far and committed it openly. They even boasted about it. They would sit by the road, throw stones and at the passerby and mock them. If a stone hit somebody, then would harass him. In fact, his attitude was contrary to human nature, for the feeling of lust was given to man for the contribution of human race. It was a small price for marriage between man and woman. If this price, lust, had not been given, people would not have undertaken the responsibility of marriage. They would not have got marriage. This would have caused the human race to become extinct. However, using lust out of this purpose and trying to satisfy it through aberrant and illegitimate ways reduce man to a degree lower than animal. For even animals do not commit homosexuality. However, the nation of Lut got into the habit of committing such a disgusting thing. Allah Almighty sent them Lut as a prophet due to this practice. Men and women were created so that they would be partners. The spiritual and physically stretchers of these two generations as a created in such way that they always need each other for the continuation of human race depends on the partnership. Therefore, they naturally tend to each other. Allah Almighty rendered marriage between a man and a woman legitimate due to his natural tendency. The reason why this attraction between men and women was created and marriage was made in the conditions of the human race. This naturally tendency between men and women and the feeling of lust make these two genders approach each other. It enables them to set up a family and bring up children. Those This feeling in the nature of human beings is satisfied ligamentarily, and the conditioning of human race, which is the real purpose, is ensured. As we have mentioned before, Allah Almighty did not limit the feelings of human beings when He created them. The feeling of lust is one of them. The most important property of man, distinguishing him for animals, is this limitlessness in his feelings. Allah Almighty limited these feelings which He did not limit in certain through the religious and prophets He sent, and He determined the legitimate boundaries through them. Besides, the mystery of testing lies here. These feelings, which are free and limitless in certain, will be arranged and limited in accordance with the laws sent by Allah Almighty. Otherwise, if Allah Almighty had limited the feelings of man like animals passing or failing the test by one's own performance, would not have been in question. It would not have been in compliance with the divine will. Allah Almighty limited the use of the feeling of lust, which He did not limit in certain through marriage between man and woman, beginning from the time of the Prophet Adam. Man needs to satisfy his lust through marriage. He must not resort to illegitimate ways. The nation of Lut became the first nation that divided from this legitimate way in the most disgusting way. The Prophet states the following in the Hadith: May Allah damn those who committed the things that the nation of Lut did. According to the majority of the Islamic scholars, homosexual intercourse is a sin like fornication. The punishment for fornication is also valid for homosexual intercourse. It is believed that the community lived in what is now the Dead Sea, a salt lake situated between the west bank of Jordan. Bani Naim is a Palestinian town located south of Haran in the occupied West Bank. Many Muslims believe that Bani Naim in Palestine houses the tomb of Lord Lut. In the center of the tomb is located within a rectangular mosque with an inner court and minaret. So friends, this was happened with nation of Prophet Lut because of sexuality. Allah Hafiz.